Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Oh, flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays, happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
News, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Lupin at Dabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adunu. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes. ECG describes as null and void sanctions against its board members by the PURC for what the regulator describes as non-compliance. How will this unfolding tussle affect the power sector? Also on Eyewitness News, Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana denies ever forging an association with Alliance Movement for Change in the Alliance for Revolutionary Change formation. Still on Eyewitness News, Kia driver whose truck caused accident to the test train on the Akosombo-Mpagada line has been jailed. There is more later. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Energy sector stakeholders laud government's move to publish audit findings of cash waterfall mechanism.
There is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on Twitter at Selom Adunu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. Now to our very first story, where the Electricity Company of Ghana has urged the Public Utilities and Regulatory Commission, PURC, to immediately withdraw the 36,000 Ghana cedi fine against the company and the 5.8 million cedi fine imposed on its board of directors. The PURC has directed the ECG to submit all bank and investment accounts it currently operates to the Commission and to provide a consistent load management schedule, respectively. But these directives were flouted, according to the PURC, without an explanation, hence the fine. But in a statement, the ECG explains that the basis for the sanction against the company and its board are not legal. It added, the ECG added that parties involved must be given a fair hearing on any charges of alleged breaches of his duties and obligations. My colleague Samuel Afe has been pouring through some of the things the ECG has been saying, and he joins me in the studio. Indeed, the ECG, two statements emanating from that entity, one signed by its managing director, Samuel Dubik Mahama, and the other signed by lawyers of the entity, SK Boafo and Co., addressing the same matter. Sami, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Salom. Which one do we take first?
Let's take the ECG managing director.
The managing director.
Yes. What has he been saying in this letter to the executive secretary of the PURC?
Well, Salom, it's a 4-page document ostensibly to, more or less react to the recent directive issued by the PURC in respect of recent happenings within the energy sector or the power sector, especially the doomsday that we've been experiencing. Remember, the PURC made some directive and ordered the ECG to make some payment for breaching its obligations and the rest. So today, the managing director himself, Mr. Samuel Dubik Mahama, wrote this letter to the executive secretary of the PURC, dated the 19th of April 2024. And I'll read portions of the letter because it's a 4-page document, and for want of time, I'm not sure we'll have that time to read all. So we'll take some or the relevant portions of the letter. And the first, he breaks the letter into 4 different groups. So the first one has to do with breach of rules and natural justice. It says, it is submitted that the orders contained in the decision of the PURC being in the form of sanction against the ECG and its board of directors, the Commission ought to have given ECG a fair hearing on the alleged breaches of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission Act 1997, Act 538, and the Consumer Service Regulation 2022 LI 2413. The sanctions, which were issued after a request of specific report from ECG to PURC, cannot under any circumstances be construed as having given ECG a fair hearing. It is further submitted that these reports were not submitted to the PURC in response to allegations of charges against it, but pursuant to PURC's demand of same, which demand or request is unusual. It is the belief of ECG that when the Commission had issues with these reports in the light of ECG's duties and obligations under the PURC Act and Regulation, it was imperative that in the performance of its administrative role as a public institution, PURC ought to have followed due administrative procedure by laying the appropriate charges against ECG for it to appear before it or to show cause why sanctions should not be imposed against it. The first regulatory order issued on the 18th of March 2024 directed at ECG simply requested it to provide reports on various issues that the Commission had identified as potential breaches by ECG. The orders did not require ECG to respond to any of these allegations, but rather a demand for submission of specific reports for the PRC to conduct its investigation. These orders were in fact complied with within the time frame given by the PRC to the ECG. It is thus expected that following the review of the said report, ECG would have been informed of whether the responses contained in the report were satisfactory or not. However, contrary to the rules of natural justice, the Commission failed or refused to communicate its feedback to the reports to the ECG, but went ahead to impose the stiffest of sanctions as if ECG had completely failed to respond to its initial orders. As an administrative body, the PURC is required to act fairly and reasonably and to comply with the requirements imposed by the law. For the avoidance of doubt, Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution, which provides that, and he quoted that particular article or the phrase in that Constitution. It says, administrative bodies and administrative officials shall act fairly and reasonably and comply with the requirements imposed on them by law, or persons aggrieved by the exercise of such acts or decisions shall have the right to seek redress before a court or other tribunal. Furthermore, the actions of PURC as a regulatory authority cannot be arbitrary, capricious, or biased and must conform with due process of the law. In the case between Awuni and WAEC 2003, it says that the Supreme Court opined that following or follows regarding the duty of administrative agencies such as the PRC to be fair and reasonable in the decision making. So the first one talks about the rules of natural justice, and it accuses the PRC of not being fair to ECG as far as this matter is concerned. As in the PRC did not give the ECG a hearing. Yes. And that's why they quoted that famous case on administrative justice, Awuni versus WAEC and all of that. So what did he also say about the cash waterfall mechanism? Because it's been one of the issues. Indeed, Gridco had alleged that the ECG had breached its part of the cash waterfall mechanism by not allocating or by not disbursing the money in that particular account in the way it should do it. Indeed, they said they don't even put the money there at all. What has ECG been saying about that? Now, Mr. Mahama says this determination by the PRC seeks to enforce the cash waterfall mechanism, CWM. We understand the CWM to be a mechanism set up by which ECG stakeholders, the Ministry of Finance, together with a supervising ministry, the Ministry of Energy, manage how ECG suppliers in the electricity value chain are paid. It is strictly a policy directive aimed at ensuring that all the actors in the electricity value chain are paid in accordance with their contract or output in the value chain. We take the view that the CWM is not subjected or subject to any regulatory oversight. PRC at its best can only consider this mechanism in arriving at the tariff ECG is allowed to charge consumers. As a result of this foregoing, save for any assignment by the two ministries of rights of PRC to implement the CWM policy directive, PRC has no legal or regulatory mandate to do so. Even so, the CWM is neither a product of Act 538 nor LI 2413, and therefore no sanction can be exerted by the PRC, and that this policy directive as same will be contrary to Article 19.5 of the 1990 Constitution of Ghana. The right of the PRC to impose regulatory charges arises only under LI 2413, and thus PRC cannot apply sanction or Section 32 of the Act 538. Section 32 of Act 538 does not in any way mention or complement complementary or regulatory charges. Regulatory charges is a creature and of LI 2413, and therefore charges are applicable only to situation arising under the LI 2413 as provided in Regulation 45.6. PRC is not permitted and cannot act outside the laws that establishes and regulate it. In the circumstances, PRC is wrong in imposing sanctions on this ground as already submitted, since the enforcement of the CWM is not regulatory function of the PRC.
One of the other matters is that the ECG failed to submit monthly bank statements to the PRC as the PRC had requested. What defense or what did the ECG say about that as well?
The EC Managing Director says, clearly, the provision mandates the PRC to give reasonable notice in requesting for any of these documents. Regarding compliance by ECG to PRC requests for bank data, the PRC admits that ECG promptly furnished it with the bank account and letters to all the banks for the data required. If PRC received data for only 36 out of 61 banks before the deadline, then it stands to reason that defaulting banks may require some more time to comply or for some administrative lapses. ECG is not in a position to tell why some of the banks may not have fully complied with the request. Therefore, it is, however, no basis for PRC to conclude that ECG has not complied with the request. Obviously, the timeline given may not have been enough for some of the banks to comply. It continues, this therefore triggers the question whether the timeline given by the PRC to ECG to comply with the time is reasonable enough. ECG ought to therefore not be punished for non-compliance at it did its best and reasonably so to facilitate the submission of the statement. ECG cannot be penalized for any of the bank's initial administrative procedure that pushes compliance beyond the EC or the PRC deadline. The sanction thus imposed is unfounded, since PRC did not even notify ECG of the non-compliance by some of the banks. In any event, there is an overriding constitutional duty imposed on the PRC per Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution to be reasonable and fair in the exercise of its powers. Furthermore, ECG has no information or knowledge of whether the said 61 banks have not submitted the bank statement on the deadline. Once again, Act 538 does not impose any regulatory charges on the PRC is seeking to overreach its powers by applying sanctions created only for breaches under LI 2413. It is our submission that the imposition of regulatory charges must be properly founded under the said LI, which is 2413, and not under any stature.
I see. So the further go ahead to make other arguments in relation to the notification of publication of planned outages, which is of interest to
a lot of people.
Of people. Briefly, what did they say about that particular one as well? Their failure to publish planned outages.
Mr. Mahama in this letter stated, Regulation 45 of LI 2413 that the PRC relies upon to impose the regulatory charge ought to be interpreted reasonably as mandated by Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution. It is rather arbitrary for the PRC to have proceeded to impose sanction when it has drawn its own conclusions without hearing ECG. More worrying is the fact that PRC proceeds to impose sanctions per alleged incidents of infraction rather than dealing with the incidents as a composite body. The approach obviously provides PRC the avenue to exact outrageous sums against ECG, which is clearly at odds with its administrative functions. This unreasonableness is further manifested when one considers how self-serving it is for the PRC to wait and seek to obtain funds for itself under the guise of regulatory charges based on number of incidents. Further continues, further proof of the unreasonableness of PRC is expressed in its order directed at the Board of Directors of the ECG to pay the said regulatory charge on ECG's behalf. This decision is neither grounded on the fact that the Commission found the Board of Directors culpable nor complicit of any wrongdoing, but simply in its opinion that no sanction of ECG will have implication on the consumer. Once again, this power exercise by PURC is without any legal basis, since PURC's mandate is restricted to only regulating public utility and not individual directors of these public utilities. Per the definition of the Public Utility and the Act 538, ECG, a body or a corporate body, qualifies as a public utility subject to the lawful regulatory powers of the PURC. It will be a stretch to argue that by virtue of being a director of a public utility of ECG, the director qualifies as a public utility and therefore subject to sanction by the PURC. And then he stated some legal documents within the court, the Supreme Court ruling on a particular matter. But then it concludes that following our above submission, we strongly advise that the Commission immediately withdraws the further orders dated the 15th of April 2024, directed at ECG and its board of directors, as same is null and void. It is further advised that ECG should be given the opportunity to be heard on any charges of alleged breaches of its duties and obligations following the submission of its report pursuant to PURC orders dated the 18th of March 2024. Please take note that this request is without prejudice to ECG's legal right to seek an order of the court to quash the said orders or an order of prohibition against further arbitrary actions of the Commission, and a mandamus to compel the Commission to hear ECG on the alleged breaches of its duties under Act 538 and LI 2413. Finally, as the company is going through its restructuring phase, these statements and pronouncements are eroding all the gains made by the company. We will plead with your establishment for more in-depth cooperation and assistance. We count on your usual cooperation. Yours faithfully, signed Samuel Dubik Mahama, Managing Director, the ECG. And his copies to the Chief of Staff, the Attorney General, the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Finance, the Board Chair of ECG, the Board Chair of PRC, and the Head of Legal at ECG.
Very well. So the second letter, which is from SK Boafo and Co., Jinami Chambers, also addressed to the Executive Secretary of the PRC, has been written on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Electricity Company of Ghana, who were in office from the 1st of August 2023 to the 18th of March 2024. That's a 5-page document. But the head and tail of this is that they say that the Commission, which is a creature of statute, can only act within the remit of the law. Yeah. And they seek to say that the Commission must confine itself strictly within the powers, rights, and jurisdiction granted it by statute or its enabling instruments. By extension, the PURC did not have what it takes legally to exact the charges or the charges they exacted on the board of directors or members of the board. Let's speak to a lawyer who understands a lot of these matters. Martin Kwebu is a lawyer and done quite some work in our country. I mean, his name is been etched in the annals of the Supreme Court, public interest lawyer, constitution, quite a lot of things, and he needs no introduction really. Martin, good evening, welcome to Eyewitness News. I believe you've been following the tussle between, of course, initially it was between the GridCo and ECG. Now it's moved on to the PURC. So now between the PURC and the ECG. PURC initially made some requests of the ECG. ECG complied. Others, maybe PURC may think, were not satisfactory. PURC now goes ahead to exact some sanctions against the ECG, not just that, against its board of directors. Now ECG's board is hitting back, and ECG itself is hitting back to say that the processes used by the PURC lack legal basis. First of all, I want to take your general view on the happening so far before we delve into the details of it.
Yeah, okay, Salam. Yeah, good evening. Now, the general happening. Look, I must mention that I am still extremely angry at Matthew Puku Prempe that we pay him with the taxpayers' money, and he was that disrespectful to us as a nation. When he was asked for the do-so timetable, he asked the journalists that we should bring our own timetable. He was asked that they said about the timetable before saying we should bring our own. He said, do people wish the country evil? And the tone and everything was so disrespectful. I'm like, what? Is this the Matthew Puku Prempeh who was crying for votes in 2015, exaggerating the economic hardship in Ghana, where he said people were using 60% of their income to pay electricity bills? He didn't say which income was that. And yet we supported him because we thought JM's performance was so abysmal. Little did we know that JM is a better person than their president, Akufo-Addo, and then Vice President Bawumia. So Opoku Prempeh owes Ghanaian an apology. I mean, we can't continue to pay him for him to continue to disrespect us like that. He must hear that he has to come out and render an unqualified apology to us as citizens. What is our crime? That we voted for them to come into office? That today they've taken so much, they've stolen so much, they become very rich and become very disrespectful? That's our crime. He must hear that we are demanding an apology for that misbehavior. You can't take citizens for granted. No empathy. People are suffering. People can't plan their lives because the lives go of do so like that. And a journalist asks this is a question, a legitimate question, a reasonable question on behalf of citizens, and then you insult us. Why? Our crime is voting for this in the MPP. Is that so? So that's my general feeling about it.
Yes, I get that. I get that, Martin. So I'm sure Martin Opoku Prempeh is heard you, and I'm sure he will do the needful. So the issue the ECG is raising is that the PURC as an administrative body ought to have given the ECG a hearing before going ahead to exact punishment or sanctions on it. What's your view on that?
Yes, that point is unassailable. Yes, it is unassailable, especially as, the PURC just came out to boom, a fine against the directors. Of course, let me start that. These matters, there is the emotional one, and then there is also the legal analysis. When it comes to the emotional part, I'm 150% behind PURC. They did well. At least you see that they've generated a conversation, because of the disrespect we've suffered from this government, in respect of their failure to give us a doom-so timetable to plan our lives, etc., right? So it was like there was nobody to save us, and PURC stood very tall at that crucial moment. So so you see, because we're in so much pain, citizens were suffering so much anguish. To be honest, that thing about not giving the directors a hearing, they did not come up. All I was happy about was that finally somebody's come to the rescue. So PURC did well there, but now with hindsight, the issues the lawyers for the directors have raised are quite tangible. Yeah, those are very serious issues. Most notable among them is the hearing one. That's the one that is difficult to find an answer from the PURC's decision. Because I even just read through it. When you read through it, 10 pages, it just says in the interest of justice and and to protect the interests of consumers, the commission shall hold the board members of ECG who are in office, blah, 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 liable for the payment. That you can't condemn a man without hearing him. I even thought when they said the order, I thought it had reasons, properly articulated reasons for holding the board members liable to show why maybe the board members have been heard or there is an exception in this case. But you don't find that. You just say in one swell hoop that in the interest of justice and to protect the interests of consumers. No, that point is not being well made at all. So, notwithstanding my support for PURC 150%, as for holding the board members liable without first giving them an opportunity to answer, it's not something I can support. It's not something I can support at all. It's basic, it's fundamental. You see, these board members were not given a hearing that they would be held personally liable. So once you haven't done that, it's not possible to impose any sanctions on them.
The PURC was of the view in charging sanctioning the board of directors. They were of the view that charging the entity itself will find its way back into the tariff, arrangement, and so it went ahead to charge or sanction the board of directors. This may be a situation of lifting the corporate veil, as many have argued, and we know that there are specific conditions under which a body may pierce the veil. Do you think that in the midst of all that is happening, the PURC had what it took, or what did they do right by going behind to the directors and sanctioning them?
No, as I mentioned, so far, unless there is any other argument, but they've not put it in the decision here. It's difficult. No, we can't support this. We can't support this decision. This is unarguable. It's not possible to make such a decision, reasonably. Because, as is stated, before you hold a person personally responsible, you must give him a hearing. So when the PURC conduct that hearing, when were the board members told to answer? So we all know that, yes, board members are responsible for drawing the policy of the company, etc. They are ultimately responsible. They give strategic direction, all those, yes. But they're doing it for the company. So if from day one, in terms of the PURC investigations, blah, 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 they did not separate the board members from the company itself and sought to deal with ECG, it's not possible at the end to now leave ECG on one side and then go hold the board members. It's not. Tell them this one, as I said, the PRC maybe should look at how to deal with this letter and then let's move on. They've done well. Though it's been through an illegal method, but look, the conversation, their decision generated, the hope it gave us as Ghanaians that here are a group of independent-minded people who stood tall, all the machinations, the shenanigans by the government to dodge the doomsday timetable, etc. So the PRC did well. So practically, sometimes I like saying this, and it's true all over the world. Sometimes when you play by the rules, rogues will get away. So sometimes to catch the rogue, you also play dirty. So in this case, it appears PURC played dirty, which has given us some results. Because look, I keep saying that the value of the conversation that the sanctions generated is immeasurable. It's priceless. It's good. It's moved our democracy forward because this is a rogue institution, rogues who have come together and trying to hide behind the law and saying we are not even aware. The ECG says that they don't get enough notification from PURC. So it's difficult to give doomsday timetable. Meanwhile, you are aware that there is under generation. If you look at peak demand and then you look at generation, there is a deficit. So you know from day one that you are not generating enough. And we're even exporting so much to Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and then Burkina. So there is a problem. So when they say, we don't get enough notification from the grid pool, so it's not possible to do a timetable. Then I'm like, go tell that to the Marines. Why are we being belittled by that? You find those days, Japan are defending this thing left, right, center. Hey, Japan is there doing so? No, there's no doom so. Oh, this thing will be settled within 1 month. Now you see how many months? You see, it's like karma. All the things they said in 2016. You see that this government has ended up repeating all the errors of the JM administration, and in the process they've even done worse. Okay? Yeah, so the PURC has done well, except that it's difficult to support the decision in law. So they can backtrack and then improve their law. Yeah, the law definitely needs to be improved. I'm talking about the LI 2413. They need to improve it on the matter of holding directors responsible. Make clear rules, all right? You see, that's why if you take the Companies Act, it's in there. You see, there's a provision in the PURC law itself. That's the Act, the Mother Act 538, right? The section 42. Yes, but that's talking about offenses. So, but this one, you did an administrative penalty. So, under 42, it talks about penalty for continuing offense. 42, offenses by body of persons. That place, you see it talking about holding members of a company, members of a partnership or other firm responsible. So those are the board members. But that is under offenses and talking about conviction. But what PULC itself has dealt with here is as under administrative penalties, not criminal trial and not criminal conviction. So it's also good. I'm sure now with hindsight they see that there are loopholes in their laws, so they can fashion new ones, and they should invite us. We talk on radio. They can invite us. Come through. Let's brainstorm. We will help them. We also understand a thing or two. Okay, that we can help to improve the law. But this one is hard. Tell me, as I've told you, you see where my emotions are.
Yeah, so I see you struggling between your emotions and the law.
Oh, I'm being very clear. I'm being very clear that we cannot support the decision. I'm not struggling. I'm just
I mean, because you emotionally you made a point that you think a certain way, but just that the way the PRC has dealt with this can just not be supported by law. Yes, that's the point I'm making. So in essence, I mean, Dubik Mahama in his letter to the PURC, in the one of the concluding paragraphs, said that we strongly advise that the commission immediately withdraws the federal orders dated 15 April 2024 directed at ECG and its board of directors, as same is null and void. So from all that we have said, you share this conclusion with Dubik Mahama that the directives or the orders by the PURC are null and void?
Yeah, reluctantly, I have to come to that conclusion because so far we can't find support. And I've been reading the LI, reading their laws up and down. It's hard, it's reluctant, but I think the reason I will agree is that if they do so now, we can bring closure to this matter, then they can start looking at how to improve the law. It's better than waiting so that this matter drags out in the public. It looks like they will go to court if PRC doesn't do. Then over several months, once the matter is being litigated, PRC itself will have its goodwill being eroded. So it appears that it's better they backtrack now quickly and close it. Yes. There is strength in admitting your weakness. Yes, admitting weakness is a huge sign of confidence and courage. It doesn't mean you are weak. No, you see something. It's difficult because, I'm sure you've seen the order. When you read that, they just come, all talking about the company, bring that. Then in one small paragraph, that in the interest of justice and to protect the consumer, we will hold the board. Oh, that one there is difficult. Yes, they should cut they've done well. They shouldn't let any litigation drag on for years and the rest. No, they should just backtrack. They should remember that they've already done the best for us. That is the conversation, the hope they give us. They strengthened our democracy. So it doesn't hurt much when they withdraw. They've already achieved their purpose. I mean, it's giving us a lot of benefits. It's been beneficial. So withdrawing it doesn't take away much. And most especially, they should look to review the law and see how to make it better.
Very well. Thanks so much, Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner. Thank you so much for speaking to us on this matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. There's still some information on between the ECG this time around, the Ashanti region and the regional minister. What have they been saying?
Well, members of the ECG in the Ashanti region have issued a 4-day ultimatum to the regional minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, to apologize following the arrest of their general manager, Michael Riafe. The union has given the minister until Tuesday, April 23, to issue a formal apology for causing the arrest of Mr. Riafe. The tension arose after Mr. Osei-Mensah allegedly caused the arrest after the disconnection of Kumasi Technical University from the national grid due to an outstanding debt of 1.2 million cedis. According to reports, the minister had previously instructed the ECG Ashanti region to notify him before any disconnection within public universities. However, he was not informed about the disconnection at KTU, leading to his complaint. As tensions mount, the ECG staff is demanding that the minister withdraws the police case filed against the general manager.
It's not the one who disconnected it. It's from the team from Accra. So if anything, he should contact the head office and they can talk to them. And the minister was so furious and he was threatening him with a lot of ways. After that, late in the night, a police officer called him that he should report at the Zongo police station. This is not how the regional minister should behave, because the people are owing us and we disconnected them. So why should you arrest our general manager? One, he should withdraw the case from the police station. Two, he should render an apology to the general manager and the entire ECG staff. That's what we expect from him. We have given him up to Tuesday. If you don't do it, we will take it up from there. The LI, which set up ECG, where did the LI see that before somebody will be disconnected, you should inform the regional minister? Accra, the same team, went to disconnect Parliament House, Kotoka International Airport, where they arrested, or something different from Ghana.
Bismarck Aduma is the National Vice Chairman of the Senior and Junior Staff Union of the ECG in the Ashanti region.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. The messages have come in their numbers. Let me take a few of them. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandama says, I'm not surprised that ECG has refused to comply with the penalty sanctioned by the PRC. The Akufo-Addo government has proven to be one that is lawless. So are its appointees, you claim. The inefficiency of the ECG has negatively affected a lot of businesses across the length and breadth of our country, yet they have, in their usual posture, refused to comply with the sanctions and rather engaging in needless blame games. No institution can be effective under this incompetent, reckless, and dishonest crop of leaders, you say. Asoba, Ya Ata Kaswa says PRC is like a lame dog. It has no teeth to bite. Otherwise, ECG and Gridco wouldn't do what they are doing. Okuro Yabua, Breman, Benin says together we can build the Ghana we want. As for the light out, something must be done about it. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Omani. Chairman, hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Recoded to do more with ease. The enhanced GCB mobile app. Download now from Google Play Store or Apple Store for all your transactions. Smooth, safe, and secure. Chale, tap the app. You don't need to have an account to upgrade. GCB mobile app. Recoded to do more. Upgrade your style. GCB Bank. Your bank for life.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Different cars take different journeys. The strong ones build big cities that people thrive in. The agile ones take us to work there, so we can make a little chop chop. The dependable ones are always present in times of trouble. We salute what you do for Mother Ghana. The traditional ones keep society running. And then there are the flashy ones that keep our roads interesting. Oga, we salute you. No
matter your vehicle, every car loves Shell fuels because our most advanced fuels with Dynaflex technology are designed to prevent deposit buildup and keep your engine clean and protected. Fill up and give your car the love it needs for better journeys. Go well.
In the realm of national discourse where every question requires an answer, one show stands out. Face to Face. Face to Face cuts through the noise and goes straight to the heart of the matter as host Umaru Sanda Amadou confronts personalities in politics, governance, socioeconomics, and business on the topical issues facing the country. Join Umaru Sanda Amadou every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Face to Face as he explores the issues that shape our nation. Only on Citi TV.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Now, the driver responsible for the train accident on the Tema to Impakadan rail line, Abel Dotto, has been sentenced to 6 months in prison with hard labor. He pleaded guilty to 3 out of the 4 charges leveled against him. These charges are careless and inconsiderate driving, unauthorized stopping, and for causing unlawful damage. The 4th charge was for failing to produce a driver's license, and he pleaded not guilty, asserting that his license was within the damaged vehicle. He has since been instructed to present the license to the Japan Circuit Court by May 9, 2024. The Ghana Police Service arrested the driver of the Hyundai truck for allegedly causing the accident involving the newly imported train, which was on a test run on the Tema Impakadan rail line yesterday. Now, security has been beefed up at Sampa in the German North District of the Bono region following renewed chieftaincy dispute. The Interior Ministry has imposed a 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew on residents of the community to avert a possible renewal of the clashes. The ministry also banned all persons in the community from carrying arms, ammunition, or any other offensive weapons, as anyone found flouting these directives will be dealt with according to the law. District Chief Executive for German North, Solomon Owusu, says though calm has been restored to the community, the Security Council is keenly monitoring the situation.
I can say the place is calm, relatively calm. In fact, the curfew started yesterday, like it was said earlier, 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. So from 4 p.m. yesterday, nobody was in town. They are complying with the rules of the curfew. Work started 7 a.m. this morning, and we have not experienced any other clashes as of now. The letter that was issued by the Minister of Interior, it was stated that until further notice, and I want to state that it's not just curfew. There's ban on arms, ammunition, and any other offensive weapons in town. We already have some security officers in town, and the ministry has also deployed some security men who are coming. They have started coming to enforce the curfew. You know, curfew, when it happens, the security has to be beefed up so that they can enforce it. As human as we are, some people may want to sort of not comply with the curfew, but the men are here to make sure that we comply.
That was the DC for German North in the Bono region, Solomon Owusu.
Now, the Nkoko Divisional Police Command is on a manhunt for about 20 armed men who attacked and robbed the Akroma Gold Mining Company situated in Esase within the Kwewu West Municipality of the Eastern Region. The heavily armed men who assaulted the company's processing area also attacked and injured several workers of the mining company, including expatriates. The armed men who overpowered the company's security absconded with undisclosed gold bars and fled the scene before the police arrived. The workers who sustained gunshot wounds and severe injuries were promptly rushed to the hospital for treatment. Head of HR for the Akroma Gold Mining Company, Frederick Obing Somoa, joins us on the line to help us appreciate what really happened today. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Tell us how it happened.
Yesterday around 5 6:40 a.m. Work was supposed to begin, and the shift was supposed to change. We ran a 24-hour system in our place. So the morning shift came in, and at the point where the shift was supposed to change, unfortunately, gunmen came and disrupted the entire processes for the day. And that is it. They terrorized our people, demanding to know where the gold was kept so that they would do what they came to do. Fortunately for us, no one died. That is the fortunate aspect. But I can confirm that 3 persons sustained various degrees of injury, and some were assaulted, but they were treated and discharged at Kenop Hospital here in Nkoko.
I see. So, did you have CCTV cameras, in your offices or around the place the thing happened, which would help the police, go after these people, or were they masked?
Well, they were masked, but we had CCTV cameras all over, and some way, somehow, they knew where the control room was. They got in, took the monitors and everything away. But we can confidently say that we've retrieved some hard drives and that the police is retrieving information from the hard drives to apprehend those who came to do this.
I see. So what has the police been telling you? Of course, it's early days yet, but are there some leads that would help the police get to the bottom of this?
Well, actually, I can't disclose what the actual investigations and investigators are doing. But what I can say is that the police are on course, and very soon, as a company, we would get the good news about the whole incident that happened. I am hopeful that the culprits will be apprehended and the law will take its course.
I see, but is it your thinking that this could have been an inside job or an insider, might have given some information to these people?
Definitely. The way the thing happened, it couldn't have just happened. Definitely there should have been someone in there. And the people came in our uniform.
Oh, they came in your uniform?
Yes.
Just to beat the security, to
Yes.
escape the scrutiny of the security.
So that is how come things eluded us a little bit. But we are very hopeful and optimistic that they will be apprehended.
Very well. We wish you the very best in this, and our condolences or sympathies for that difficult situation you may be finding yourself in now. Eyewitness, thank you so much. So that was head of human resource at the Akroma Gold Mining Company, Frederick Obeng. So more Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. How?
A group known as the Crusaders Against Corruption has officially distanced itself from Alanche Martin's Alliance for Revolutionary Change, ARC. In response to claims made by a prominent member of the Movement for Change, Yabuabin Asamoah, suggesting their affiliation with the Movement for Change, the Crusaders Against Corruption vehemently refuted such assertions as entirely false. In a statement signed by the Chief Crusader Emmanuel Wilson Jr., the group referenced an interview on April 17 where Boabin Asamoah purported that the Crusaders Against Corruption had aligned with Alanche Martin's movement. Wilson clarified that these claims were baseless and urged the public to disregard any insinuations linking them to the Alliance for Revolutionary Change.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, Citi Business News will be up next. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kube Boga.
now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year, only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN just for you. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique just for you package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
In the realm of national discourse where every question requires an answer, one show stands out. Face to Face. Face to Face cuts through the noise and goes straight to the heart of the matter as host Umaru Sanda Amadou confronts personalities in politics, governance, socioeconomics, and business on the topical issues facing the country. Join Umaru Sanda Amadou every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Face to Face as he explores the issues that shape our nation. Only on Citi TV.
Different cars take different journeys. The strong ones build big cities that people thrive in. The agile ones take us to work there so we can make a little chop chop. The dependable ones are always present in times of trouble. We salute what you do for Mother Ghana. The traditional ones keep society running. And then there are the flashy ones that keep our roads interesting. Oga, we salute you.
No matter your vehicle, every car loves Shell fuels, because our most advanced fuels with Dynaflex technology are designed to prevent deposit buildup and keep your engine clean and protected. Fill up and give your car the love it needs for better journeys. Go well.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News and Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. Stakeholders within the energy sector have welcomed government's move to publish and audit findings of the cash waterfall mechanism. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, revealed government's intention to publish the findings of audits into the cash waterfall mechanism during a panel discussion at the ongoing IMF Springboard meeting as part of reforms to enhance the energy sector. One of such stakeholders, energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, said the move will go a long way to provide the needed transparency necessary to address the fiscal challenges in the sector.
By the finance minister to publish the cash waterfall mechanism audit report. I think it's a step in the right direction for the simple fact that a bit of transparency Yeah. So if you notice the problem that we have, some of them are induced, and that has made it multifaceted and making it very difficult to disengage which you need to tackle and which you need to prioritize. So it's one thing not able to collect enough revenue from as an ECG, and another thing not able to distribute this revenue judiciously or to put it where it's supposed to go. And I've always maintained that you have to put your money where your mouth is. ECG is able to stick to the catch water fall mechanism. If there's going to be deviation, then the deviation should be marginal.
Energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleimana. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers (COPEC) is predicting yet another hike in the price of petroleum products after Israel's recent attack on Iran. It is thus urging government to put in place measures to cushion consumers of petroleum products in the coming days. Israel launched an attack on Iranian soil on Friday, intensifying concerns that the two countries could drag the region deeper into conflict and spike global oil prices. Duncan Amwa is the executive secretary of COPEC, and he has been speaking to Citi Business News on the development and its impacts on Ghana.
Unfortunately, you have Israel deciding now to have a retaliatory strike on Iran. That uncertainty alone, within the past 24 hours, would see international market prices go up due to an uncertainty as to what next Iran would do, what next Israel would do, especially within the Middle Eastern region. And so this will bring us back to what we have almost always said in Ghana, a country that is a price taker who would just import and pay for what international market dictates. As it stands, it's likely prices are going to go up again. And in the face of a depreciating cedi and government inability to do anything about the taxes on your fuel price build-up, there's only one, eventual thing that you could expect, and that is the tendency for these tensions in the Middle East and then attacks on Russian refineries would lead to fuel prices, escalating in the coming days in country, sadly.
Duncan Amwa is the executive secretary of COPEC. Consumers in the Western North, pay higher prices for essential food items compared to other regions. This is according to the latest findings from the Ghana Statistical Service's second food price variability report. The report, which tracked prices for 10 staple food items from January 2023 to February 2024, highlights a potential increase in the cost of living for a resident. The items monitored include bread, beans, yam, noodles, cooking oil, tomato paste, milk, beef, iodinated salt, and imported rice, all measured in cedis per kilogram or litre. Here is the data scientist at the Ghana Statistical Service, Simon Onilimo, with highlight of the report.
Yes, that no single region have higher prices for all the 10 selected commodities. It depends on the commodity, and this may largely be influenced by the availability of those commodities across the regions we are analyzing. So basically, that is what this is telling us, that you look at Greater Accra is ranked twice, but the interesting thing with Greater Accra is that you realize that even though it is ranked highest twice, most of the median prices of Greater Accra are ranked within the top 3 of all the 10 selected food items. And if you look at Bono East, for instance, you look at Bono East is ranked top twice, and most of its items are ranked way below. So if you pick each of the items and across all the regions, you're able to rank the median prices of each of these items across. So we wanted to see, after ranking all these food items across all the 16 regions, what is the average rank for each region in all the items? And we are seeing that Ahafu is coming top, because Ahafu is ranked 5 times in top 3 of the items.
That was the data scientist at the Ghana Statistical Service, Simon Onilimo. CATS International is advocating for Ghanaian small and medium enterprises to have access to affordable logistics for exporting their products and services globally. Poor infrastructure, according to the World Bank and the Infrastructure Consortium of Africa, add between 30 to 40% to the costs of goods traded among African countries. Speaking at a GIZ and CATS public-private dialogue on making logistics work for Ghanaian SMEs under the AFTA, the West Africa Regional Director of CATS International, Apia Kusi Adumako, emphasized the need for stakeholders to ensure an enabling environment for SME growth.
There's one key thing about AFCFTA that we need to talk about. Without a very strong trade logistics, we cannot become successful for trade. This means that the cost of moving goods will be expensive and also longer in duration. Police and customs barrier, all these delays will kind of conspire against you. So by the time you get to your final destination, it's possible that the product might have even expired. And so AFCFTA will not become successful if we do not address the issue of trade logistics. This is something that government alone cannot do. I mean, it involves a private sector and also the government. But when government creates the enabling framework, I'm sure that the private sector will be able to take advantage of it.
Apia Kusi Adumako is the West African Director of CATS International, ending City Business News on Eyewitness News. The Business News on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
You know, Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight on Eyewitness News, the majority in Parliament says the NDC does not have anything better to offer Ghanaians with its same old flag bearer John Dramani Mahama and running mate Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman. The majority caucus contends that a vote for the NDC would occasion leadership crisis in the party, as its flag bearer John Mahama would serve only one term. Speaking to journalists, Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin said a Mahama-led government will not have the sense of urgency to govern the country.
For Ghanaians to know what we have done so far, what we came to meet, and to remind Ghanaians of the records of the NDC. For us, this is not an election of a referendum on the new patriotic party in government, but it's an opportunity for Ghanaians to compare the two main political parties and their policies whilst in office. The NDC has not changed since 2016, when they lost the elections by over 1 million votes. The only thing that has changed is their running mate. Even so, the running mate was part of the government, and she was the main advisor on educational policy, who advised the government on educational policy to the effect that free SHS was not possible. So it's the same old team, from the flag bearer through to the running mate and all their former ministers, some in parliament, some outside parliament. Their communicators who still find space in the media, criticizing our government and promising a new heaven. It is important for us to remind all of us that these same people, whilst in office, made certain profound statements as to what they could do and what they could not do. We need to emphasize that they were clear on their minds that vulnerable people who could benefit from free SHS was indeed impossible. They were loud and clear on that. They even initiated what they call the E-block system, that they were going to increase infrastructure. It is important to point out that when MPP assumed office in 2017, without delay, the free SHS policy was implemented. Just for the records. Upon successful implementation of this free SHS, we have had an enrollment increasing by 75%. In terms of numbers, we have had 800,000 plus getting access from the beginning up to 1.4 million now. So just for emphasis, currently we have almost 1.4 million of Ghanaian children in school. Majority of them are from vulnerable homes, from homes that could not have afforded if it was to be a fee-paying policy. In terms of infrastructure, across the country, this government has so far completed, as at December last year, completed 747 structures, dormitories, classroom blocks, to support the implementation of this policy. And we are not saying that it's been done without challenges. We have challenges, but largely we have been successful in implementing. Now, they left us with some day schools. I have with me the records. We have a total of 60 out of the 101 community day schools called the E-blocks that have been completed. We need to emphasize that as at the time we assumed office, they who were the initiators of this initiative had completed only 29. This government believes in continuity. We didn't come with our own policy just to abandon what our predecessor had initiated. We did not do that. So far, we have successfully completed, as at 2022, 31 more. So making it a total of 60 day schools that are in operation. The rest have been reassessed, and I can say on authority that 15 of these E-blocks have been programmed, earmarked for resumption of work. And this is going on. So if an NDC activist sits on radio to tell you that this government has failed Ghanaians, it is important that you remind such an NDC activist with the records, because facts are sacred. You can't change them. That you let them know that you had an opportunity for 8 years. You said that you were totally against free SHS because the resources to implement was not there. But we came. And let me state again that between 2017 and 2019, we implemented several tax reforms. We reduced some taxes, and I'm going to provide you with a list of them. NPP administration reviewed the tax policy it inherited. For instance, the following were abolished. The 1% special levy on import was abolished. The 17% VAT on financial services was abolished. The 17% on selected imported medicines that were already in place was also abolished. And in this case, let me say that those who were producing, the pharmaceutical companies that were doing local production, were given that dispensation to enable them make savings. I'm saying that all of these were done. It was a cost to government because abolishing taxes or reducing percentage in terms of tax that you have inherited would mean less money to you as a government, less revenue. Whilst doing this, we implemented free SHS. So it should tell you that this is a government that cares, this is a government that believes in value for money and knows how to allocate resources for the benefit of the vulnerable. So an opposition propaganda should not mislead Ghanaians that they are better managers of this economy and, for that matter, the educational sector. When it comes to the educational sector, which is a major aspect of our economy, because educating the people of Ghana, educating the youth, building the human resource capacity is a major investment. And that is how come today Ghana has produced more nurses to the extent that we are able to even export that subsector of labor into other countries. Now, let me touch on a very sensitive issue about electricity. Ladies and gentlemen, we recall that somewhere 2015, when Ghanaians were calling for reduction in utility tariffs, particularly electricity, the then President Mahama, currently the flag bearer of the NDC, said the cost of the production of electricity was so high that there was no way the government could reduce electricity tariffs. The NDC was loud and clear. In 2017, when we assumed office, this government, the MPP government that today the NDC criticizes, took steps to negotiate a major tariff reduction. Households enjoyed between 17 to 20% reduction. Corporates enjoyed reduction up to 25%. The mining companies benefited, and the records are there. That upon assumption of office, the very thing we spoke about in opposition, which our friends in government then said it was a political talk, we came in and we announced these major tariff reductions. And it is important to remind all of us that between 2013 and 2016, we had an average annual increase in terms of electricity tariffs of up to 41.3%. Whereas between 2017 and 2023, the average annual increase in electricity tariff was 9.2%. So yes, it is true that Ghanaians are complaining of electricity tariffs. Cost of living is high. But what we want to emphasize is that it was worse under NDC, and if they were in power, given their posture in government at the time, the situation would have been worse than it is. So, comparatively, this is not a party to be trusted. Yeah. From its flag bearer to all its operatives, they were the same old stock. Like I've said before, the appointer and his appointees haven't changed. And as at now, all they do is to criticize and to mislead Ghanaians with a view of getting power. They have not put in place alternatives to say that, look, this is what we left behind. This is what we expect the MPP to do. MPP hasn't done it. We can do it better. As we speak, the NDC has not put out an alternative in terms of policy. So again, we want to emphasize that in spite of all the challenges that the good people of Ghana face, we have not left them naked. We walked the talk. We implemented the rebates on electricity tariffs, and we have been very conscious of upward adjustment. And not to forget the fact that in 2020, during the COVID, we ensured that lifeline consumers had free electricity, and we had up to 50% reduction for others during the COVID. Over the period, this government has been conscious in seeing to it that Ghanaians do not suffer the way they did under the NDC government when it comes to payment of electricity tariffs. Now, let me turn my attention to health. If you come to the health sector, I'll start from our region. We have completed 10 polyclinics in Central Region, 5 polyclinics in Greater Accra. We have done the rehabilitation of Tamale Teaching Hospital Phase 2. The Bekwai District Hospital has been completed. The UGMC Phase 2 done. We have done 13 district hospitals in addition. And we have the 6 drone delivery centers. Let me emphasize this. Distribution of medication to rural communities. There was a whole inertia about this during the NDC regime, where it would take days to deliver medication. Through digitalization, through innovation, this government has demonstrated its care, its love for the people in vulnerable communities. Yep. And we instituted this drone delivery service. And so far we have these 6 centers and it is functioning. Those in very rural communities where it is difficult to access healthcare can attest to that. Then, of course, the Agenda 111, very ambitious health infrastructure policy. This government has not slept on this promise. And we can assure Ghanaians that by November of this year, or prior to the elections, Ghanaians will see commissioning of these projects. We are not promising 100%, but we can assure Ghanaians that we would walk the talk and they will see that quite a number are being commissioned, and those that perhaps will not be commissioned, they will see that they are near completion, and through the performance tracker, Ghanaians can access the extent of completion of this health infrastructure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that we have not abandoned the people of Ghana. In spite of all the difficulties that we face as a country, we have ensured that the manifesto promises have been implemented. Let me come to industrial growth. We, as a party, acknowledge that the way to develop a nation is through the private sector. That is why, in opposition, we announced the One District, One Factory initiative. True to our words, upon assumption of office, this government uses as a major tool to attract investors into our country. Major economies in the world have used tax rebates, tax incentives as a means to attract foreign investment. If you go to Qatar today, they operate a free zone regime where you come in, you don't pay tax, they allow you to work for a number of years before the government begins to tax you. It's the same policy we have introduced in Ghana. And we all know that as a result of it, we have so far 143 companies that have been established and are in operation under the 1D1F. We have about 126 companies at different stages under the 1D1F. And existing companies that were going bad have taken advantage of this policy to reintroduce certain initiatives to help their company to expand. And that is where our colleagues in NDC get it wrong, that, the 1D1F, you have existing companies that we are listed. Perhaps they don't get it. Their problem is that they don't get it. If a company is already in existence under a certain policy, and under a new policy, that company has that space to expand, it takes advantage of that new policy to increase production, to increase employment, and to bring in new ideas, new products, introduce new services because of the attractiveness of the new policy.
You heard Majority Leader, the Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, addressing the press earlier today. on a variety of issues. From the NDC, its flag bearer, running mate, to the achievements of the new Patriotic Party government. That's how we conclude today's edition of Eyewitness News, which came to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. Show has been produced by Nana Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafi. Production assistance has been given by Daniel Squashi. Social media support by Edwin Kwakofi. Earlier you heard Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. My name is Selom Adonu. Up next is Sports Panorama. And of course, make a date with me tomorrow at 9 a.m. for The Big Issue, as we discuss the topical issues that made news this week. Have a good evening.